This is Community Formation, a podcast made by and for the Twilight Imperium community.
Hey, Brass man, how's life been treating you?
Oh, dude, it's good, man. It's good. It's good, man. It's good.
Yeah,
You can see it, dude. I'm like in totally this new spot, bro.
yeah, man. I
Totally in
missed the
this new
piano in
spot,
the
bro.
background. I am gonna tell you that. That was
Oh
nice to
yeah.
stare at. Mm.
Maybe I can figure it out. It's like just over there. I
Okay, okay.
I may or may not sell it. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think I'm holding on to it. It's just like there's not a lot of room in here, you know. So
yeah, man.
I've had to throw a lot of stuff out, and this like big honking organ that like kind of sounds like garbage a little bit, but is really sentimental and is actually very sweet. And it's got
Yeah,
beats on it. I think I talked about that before, but
you did.
it's got fat beats on it.
Oh, that's
Uh,
sick. I just like, man,
yeah.
you have to be pretty desperate to sell your organ, though, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know,
I
man. Some
mean,
people are organ donors, bro.
that's true, that's true. But usually you don't need them at that point, right? But I do
Mhm.
like, I need to make my background a little more slick, like you got. I got to get like a one of those Apto posters or something. Maybe I'll have to
Oh,
hit him up.
dude, I have a ton.
Have some
I
nice
have a ton of
viewing.
his. Yo, I've been like
Oh, do
meaning
you?
to. Yeah, I've been meaning to like either frame them or like put them into some kind of like arrangement or something where they're like really done up or whatever. But I don't know. I'm gonna have this whole like nerd corner. I also have
Hmm.
I have a portrait of a wizard.
Oh,
I
hell yeah.
I'm like dead serious, and like if you're on the Beautiful People Club, is that what we're calling it now these days?
Well, I changed it
If
to that
you're,
just because it's not the bat caps anymore. Like we
that's
got
true.
some.
That's true.
Well, and the secret is that everyone's a beautiful person.
That's
Anyone can
true.
join.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. All right. Well,
mhm.
I just didn't know what the inspo was for that, so I just like needed to know. But if
Oh,
you
when
are,
you and I met
oh
in person,
yeah,
Prapara was like, or Daniel, one of those. They were like, what is this? Like, why are there so many beautiful people on this server? I was
oh,
like, well, that's
there it
because we're in the Beautiful
is.
People's Club.
There it is. Okay, if you
Hmm.
needed the story, and I know you did, there it is, right there.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
if you want to join the Beautiful People Club, just hit us up, and obviously the invite is floating around there, and anyone is welcome because you are all beautiful. Is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're on there, I will show you the portrait of the wizard. I got it from a vintage store here in Portland, and it is fantastic. I think
It
it's
is.
from like the 80s or something. It's like the style is like old D&D artwork is like
Oh man, like
is
that.
the style.
Oh,
Like the really old
AD&D,
like
like.
yeah, the Gygax
Hmm.
era kind of artwork, like aesthetic, like
Oh man.
that's kind of what it is. And it's even more corny than that, and it's like actually got a like mirror surface in his like I don't know, crystal ball or like in his mirror or something like that. It's like actually like a mirror like surface or something. It's some
No,
funny stuff.
that's sick, man. Yeah. Well, I have a much less cool time since last we met. Let's see, since last time we reported this podcast, I caught COVID.
Word.
Uh, on the same day my air conditioning went out in my house.
A word. That
Had to
sucks.
move all the flights that were 2 days from then, to, because I had COVID, didn't want to fly with
Mm-hmm.
that. Man, the real, like, besides, like seeing my dog and girlfriend, important things,
Mm-hmm.
almost didn't get to see you, man. But
Word.
thankfully we got that all squared away, and
Yeah.
yeah, it was awesome. And by the way, thank you for buying my beers after driving 2.5 hours to see me. Like that meant
Word.
a lot. Although funny that you waited till I went to the bathroom to do it, which is even funnier. But oh man, no,
It's
that
actually an intimidation tactic. You were meant to be intimidated
I am.
because we are still enemies on some level in one
Yeah,
async
speaking of which.
game.
Well, do you want to like? You know what, man? You tell me from your perspective, because I was just disappointed in you. I was
Word.
disappointed.
Word. I don't know. I don't even know what to say about that game right now, other than I just want to explore my tokens. That's all I want to do. I just like because I feel like in the early game that kind of got taken away from me when my Stroders died, and it's like I can't explore my frontier tokens, man. And now it's like the late game. I really don't have any chance of winning at all.
Okay,
And
by the way, that's BS,
yeah,
dear listener. Dear listener, that's BS. He has Imperial right now in round 4. He
I'm
made a deal
not
with me so he gets
getting.
double
I'm
score.
not getting Mechatol.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
not
oh
getting.
no!
Not getting
You get to draw
Mechatol.
4 secrets in this game.
Oh, come
You're
on.
double
I
scoring.
only
And
just
yeah.
drew my second. Okay, you know what? We're not getting into this right now.
I don't know.
But
After
no.
last week's little talk we have today about like how winning works and how it usually ends up. Oh. But yeah, no, I guess we should maybe like
Uh,
roll into the episode proper a little. Well,
yeah.
very exciting episode we have for you today, guys. We have
Yeah.
a little round table, a little different format. We're still tooling around with the format, so you maybe not
Mhm.
expect the same thing every week from us. But
We're constantly experimenting with what this is going to look like.
yeah, and please tell us what you like, what you don't like. I have very thin skin, but like if you want to see me cry, like let me know when I fuck up, please.
Roast
Yeah,
him.
no,
Get him.
please do. No, I love it. As long as you're willing to let me like spat it back at you, of course. But no, we have Stads and DragoThaxton on. Our Stats homie Drago's hopefully on every week, or at least as long as we can think of some good material to talk about, because we do want a little bit of like that crunchy numbers TI talk in here a little bit. Probably a little more in the social, like meta talk about it, like personal interaction, as opposed to like should I research this tech in round 1 and that kind of stuff. But him and Sads, like we've already recorded that segment, and man,
it was so great. It was so fun. They're just lovely boys, is what I'll say.
They are.
They're just absolutely lovely boys.
Yeah, I mean, like it's happens to us too often. Every time we sit down with someone, you and I are the second and third and fourth best players in the room. But boy, did it show. No. So that's coming up, and then we're gonna have a little talk here soon about something that happened just today. And I don't want to get too into that yet. We're gonna save the juice for that because that's coming up here shortly. But yeah, Braz, is there anything I'm missing? Anything I'm covering up?
There actually is something that you're missing. We want to collectively, both Frox and I, give a huge shout out and a huge thank you to our homie Prepara Player. That's his handle on the Discord. Absolutely delightful human being. He's got an enormous Spheal doll, like a Pokemon. It's like an enormous. It's like as big as a human, or it's just like enormous, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's hilarious. But we're talking about him because he did the logo that if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see at the very end of the
Actually
video.
on the Podbean stuff too, like a little emblem. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't upload the community formation stuff that you have, but no, yeah, and I mean, like the guy is just great. He even helped us a little bit with like how to record and like some feedback errors, and yeah. Also, if you want to talk vintage keyboards, the guy knows his stuff.
He knows his stuff. He's got his IBM on lock. He's got that stuff on lock. Yeah. I want to talk about community game. There's some shit going on.
Man, I was an unwilling participant in that shit, by the way. I was outvoted. When you go back at the end of this game, they were like, Brent, you were heard. You were, or Frox, sorry, use my IRL name. Oh no, by the way, my real name's Brent, guys. But you were heard. We are a democracy. You're just outvoted. And I'm like, ain't gonna raise a stink about it, but you know what? You talk about it.
Wow. Well, what we're really talking about is actually an historic first in the community game on that server. We've never ever had an elimination before, and the first bona fide elimination has happened in Game 4, the Franken game. I mean, we've gotten like close a couple other times, and actually Game 2 I think was defined by the near elimination that eventually turned into the complete and total wine make of the Sardak Nor.
You and I are still a little bitter about that one.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's the story that that was wrote, baby, and the story that got wrote here. I don't even know what necessarily had happened in terms of the prelude to this, but
I think it really just comes down to you dictate what your secrets do. A team's a little spread out. You have Dark in the Skies, and when you have the Hakan hero, and you just researched War Suns.
Yeah.
And warfare hadn't happened yet this round, and maybe someone in this chat is a little more culpable than they like to admit about what their own team's hand in all this. Maybe,
Yeah,
you know, like
so
I know I'm part of the death march, but you know what? You're at the other end of it. You kind of
no,
started the Rose Parade, as it's come to be called.
sure. So, from my perspective, what happened was that, I mean, as far as like Rose's building the War Suns, like lickety split off the secondary warfare with the Hakan hero and all that, obviously it happened so fast, and I was just like not even sure what was going on there. And then before I know it, Brian's in my chat saying all the shit like, I just thought of the greatest meme involving Zayu. And I was like, okay, you like are appealing to my clown sensibilities, and you are talking about memes. So like, what are we talking about? And then Kluin was the one that sussed it out immediately of like, oh, they want to use Zayu to completely eliminate Big the Cat, who is their neighbor, and I think they had an active deal, like an active non-binding agreement that Roses just completely and utterly violated. And yeah, just completely just like came into the system adjacent to their stuff with the agent, with Zayu, and then just like marched on the home system, and just like it all happened so fast. And I did make a couple of memes about it, this is true, but I don't know, the best analogy that I could think of to describe of how it felt and everything was just like literally the moment where Oppenheimer like witnesses the atomic bomb exploding like at the Trinity test site or whatever, and then he's like,
Yeah,
I am become destroyer of worlds, like
I am death,
you
become
know,
destroyer
like
of
that,
worlds.
yeah,
Yeah,
that one,
no.
you know what I mean? It's just like totally that vibe where it's like, oh gods, what have I
It's
done?
like Brian's master focus, right? Like just on the big stage.
Yeah.
It's not even like an ego thing. I mean, it like made sense, right? Because I mean, they ended up having Dark in the Skies, and you know, they've told us in chat maybe they have that other thing that involves home systems and stuff. So
you never know. You never
and this
know.
will come up probably after it. You know, so
yeah, so there was this whole like moment where it seemed like they were gonna be okay, and this is where Frox is also culpable in this shit. You know what I mean? Like they seemed like they were gonna be okay because we traded the DMZ to them, but then y'all have the peace accords and like specifically used peace accords to take the DMZ away from Big the Cat, which by the way was their like nature preserve for the cats.
Well, actually, if you read the lore, it's actually where Matt's podcast studio is.
Oh, okay.
And Hunter peacefully annexed it because he's the host of the podcast now.
Oh man!
Which, by the way, Phil Sage did a wonderful write up about taking over, and then Brian.
That's one of my favorite things.
Knell happened. So Hunter is on Team Blob, not actively involved. Matt and Hunter aren't actively involved in either, which is totally fine, by the way, no complaints. But Hunter hadn't been involved at all. We asked him, like, okay, you're our last vote. Do we eliminate Matt's team? He said, go for it. so like, I was outvoted 3-1, right? Like, Zippelin, he's an EU morning guy. So, like, he's like, oh, yeah, he's out for blood. Like, you should see this guy. He's not quite Susan levels of fire and brimstone.
Cold-blooded. That's just what I thought when Hunter said
but
that.
we did take that, and I was against it because I just feel like in the spirit of this game, but strategically it makes sense because guess what? Big the Cat's passed out 15 trade goods to people who aren't us, Roses, or Bort. Like this past round and a half. And like we weren't getting anything. All they did was promise to help other people. And we're just like, well, like you won't even why make us and give us the support, which like I get, by the way. No hard feelings on that. But like you're also like indirectly helping everyone but us. So why are we gonna you know, like let you be? I mean, I personally like I have voiced on multiple occasions like I'm not super cool with this. Like not just because I have a couple of really good friends like Old Wolf and Prapara on the team.
Yeah, Prapara, we were just talking about him, dude.
I think in the spirit of the community game, like just going for an outright elimination doesn't feel right because it's like I don't know, like you and I met on a team that was super hard to eliminate. Don't get me wrong, but like what if like you're just ripped from that friend group? You know, it's like if mom and dad get divorced and you have to move school districts.
Yeah.
So
the last thing I was gonna say is that the way the elimination actually happened and the action it took place was a stellar converter elimination.
Oh, man, I'm just gonna pour some out for my homies into my
pour
mouth.
one out for the homies right there. Can you imagine?
If I didn't have carpet, it'd be on it.
Can you imagine a more brutal? And I mean, but it's because it's literally just like a Star Wars move, man. Like fucking
yeah.
Oh, like dude, some Death Star shit, bro. That's like cold. That's cold.
That was cold.
All right. Well, I think it is time for a very special segment that is a YouTube exclusive, by the way. If you're listening to the Podbean, you ain't getting this right now. This is the YouTube exclusive. This is what we'd like to call Brassbird's Mega Meme Center. And what this segment is a top 5 in no particular order of the memes that I just like am seeing, and you know, it's like just stuff that's like topical and like what's happened recently. If you want to get featured on the Mega Meme Center, you have to ping me with the memes is what you gotta do. You gotta ping at Brassbird and you gotta show me the stuff and I will put it on there. So we are gonna move on to meme number 1. What do we got? Oh, I had to show this one. This one's mine, and you know what? This is just Brian's face, is what this is. Going, peace, bro. Peace, bro. I eliminated someone, is what he's saying. But yeah, rip. Pour one out for Big the Cat. We had to commemorate the elimination with a couple of elimination memes starting off here.
And where'd you post that one, buddy?
Oh, well, I mean, this one's on the, you know, Meme Messin', you know what I mean?
Man, Meme Messin', man, I love that.
Community game.
You know, I'm just
love
checking
Meme
it out.
Messin'. Love
you do a bit of that. What do the kids call it? The X posting, the cross posting.
Oh, cross posting.
You do quite a bit of that bit. So I was making sure, you know, that's where that one was at.
I just free jazz the cross posting. You know what I mean?
And I mean, it's some good stuff. It's some good stuff right there.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna move on to meme number 2. I'll spoil it. It's another elimination meme. Uh-oh. This one's from Phil Sage on Meme You Messin'.
Oh man.
Yeah. down, take it down.
Oh man, I can hear it. I can hear it.
You just hear it?
Oh man, I can hear the Who right now in my head.
Oh my god.
Oh man, it's too good.
Yeah, dude.
It's too good.
The very rare Stellar Converter elimination. I've got Stellar Converter in one of my async games. I'm a Jolnar game, and I don't think I'm going to accomplish anything nearly as apocalyptic. I mean, I got Fibba.
I just wish you could aim at your own planets. Just it really goes with my sense of humor. If you could aim that straight at your own planet, it would just be super cool.
Oh, ultimate!
That's all I'm gonna say.
Ultimate troll life. That's what you want.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You want ultimate troll life?
I'm such a people pleaser, man. Wow. Like I talk a big game, but I can't turn the gun on anyone.
Wow. Absolutely hilarious. All right. We're going to move on to meme number 3. So this one's from my boy, Jadeem Jedi. And this one's kind of a special one because he actually posted 2 memes and then I spliced them together. So this is a unintentional collab between Jadeem Jedi and myself. But I just love the chaotic energy. Homeboy. Just saying that dice don't lie, man. And his thirst for the home system is getting rewarded by the 7th player because the 7th player is a bloodthirsty motherfucker is what happens sometimes. And you know, I just realized now it's Flight. It's Flight of Fancy. He's in one of my games. He's on my Magi's Madness one. This was on the obligatory memes channel, by the way, on the async server. But yeah, Flight, be safe, my brother. Be safe. Be well. That's what I have to say.
I like that one.
Wow. All right, moving on to meme number 4. This one is from Cages. I'd like to think.
Oh my god.
I'd like to think that Cages was inspired by me in the async games, the game where I'm Ghosts, and I just researched anti-mask because all I want to do is explore the frontier now.
Oh my god, dude!
All I want to do is explore the frontier, man.
He researches anti-mask in round 4, just to get this DET token there, and like I responded with like that mullet looking dude going, "What the?"
Would you kindly? Would you kindly? Would you kindly? Oh, I'll get it. I'll get it. All right,
my
here
God.
we go. Moving on to meme number 5. This one is from Vaunt PDX, the man, the myth, the legend, my personal hero, Vaunt PDX on Meme Town. This one, I think, was a highly rated meme, and was one that got kind of riffed on maybe a couple of times if my memory serves. But this one is just good. It is just good all around. Every single one of these punchlines in the last panel, killing me. Don't you hate nerds? What's the deal with Arborek?
Oh my God, dude. Dude, that one's. Listen, like, the Cages one was my favorite just because I was there at its inception and it's totally ingrained, but that one's too good. The Vaunt one, oh man.
Oh, so
Oh
good.
man.
So
No,
good.
that was good. That was a good meme center you got there.
Yes,
Oh,
yes. And that has been Brassbird's Mega Meme Center. Thank you for joining us in that very special time. If you want to get featured on Brassbird's Mega Meme Center, make the meme and ping me. And now our interview with Stads and DragoThaxton. All right, we're here. What are we talking about today, y'all?
I thought we were going to like trash on the tournament, say why things have been winning, why things have been losing, why it's all just win making anyway, and you should turn into the finals to see some dark arts. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question. Why did all 4 of us lose? Like, honestly, like, it's kind of trash, right? Like, we should be winning.
I'm not.
I played Winu, and they came for me. I tried.
I missed your game. I heard no one like drew more undeserved heat in their game than you did.
Oh, that's just Jasper being a real good friend and keeping my spirits high. But yeah, I got hated properly. I think I said on the Discord a long time ago that if you pick Winu, you are indirectly insulting the other 5 players. You don't think they're good enough to police you. And I stand by that. And those 5 players they played with were good enough to police me. So yeah, I played myself. I'm cool with that. So what's your freeze excuses?
My excuse is Mantis. Oh. Mantis. So technically, if I lose to Mantis and Mantis wins, I mean, hey, right? I don't know, right?
I know that feel.
My excuse is I did not seek a support swap early enough in the game. And I kept pushing for only one player instead of the other, and I got to 9 at the end of round 4 and didn't make it to 10.
Word.
That's a good thing to dive into. We'll get to yours, Brassbird, but this is just anecdotal from me doing all my tournament watching and stuff. In my personal game, supports get swapped usually end of round 2, end of round 3. That's just how it is. In the tournament, people were waiting. They were taking their time. They were sampling all the different relations, seeing how exactly they wanted it to get done. And sometimes they got a little tricksy, little triangle swap, little one-way extortion. Do you find that happens in your games? Do you find that doesn't? What's the sitch?
All of my POK games that I've won 3. I've played 14 to completion. No, not 14 POK. I've played probably 10 to completion. And I have won all 3 without a support for the throne.
Ooh,
word.
Yeah. Oh wait. Oh, my tournament game. No, my tournament game. I had one, but I had to basically do the darkest of arts with that Titans player in my qualifier to get his support. Because I had point blocked him, and I was supposed to swap with the Argent player, whose home system I took to win the game, by the way. But he ended up swapping with someone else immediately after I point blocked the Titans player. And I was like, if I point block him, you'll support swap me, right? And then he just swapped with the Jolnar on the other side. I'm like, oh, this guy. Dang. So I think I need to start earlier. But I try to buddy up with one guy and just full commit early instead of just playing around and seeing who's actually into it. So maybe that's a me thing. We should that thruple thing. Brass and I tried to dive into with Bort last episode. Maybe I should try that with supports. Just fucking play the field and see who likes me more.
Yeah, sure.
The thruple support life. How about you, Drago? Brass. What kind of support life you see?
I was gonna say, first of all, we're not gonna talk about my game. Don't talk about
Yo,
Don't talk
your
about what happened in my
your
game.
first game was a really, really good win, from what I recall.
Absolutely. That was one of the best games I've ever played. Like, honestly, my qualifier was just like beautiful. Like, the way I describe it these days is that it was just like an experience of the 7th player stepping in and gently taking me by the hand and leading me to the finish line in just like the most beautiful like way. It was incredible, truly. And then my prelims game was an absolute shit show. So we're not going to talk about it. We're going to move on to the next topic. But you know what? You can DM me. I'll tell you the story. What?
Oh, Drago needs to go. Not next topic yet.
Well, yeah. I mean, I have the exact same experience for my qualifier game. Somehow all heat went to Winu, which is like you just said, everyone's insulted when Winu gets picked. So all heat went to Winu, and I just kind of was able to coast. And in watching it back later and listening to, I think it was Clawforce was the announcer for that. He was just like, everyone not even looking right now at, okay, yeah, he's just going to take, and that's game. And I was, like certain, just like all heat was just focused on him. And I felt bad. I even messaged him after. I'm like, hey, like, that's all because of you, really. And he was appreciative of, like, you're nice about it, at least I should say. What was his name? Schlong? I don't know. Something. I can
look this up. Give me a moment. But
he's got this.
He knows how to do this.
He was a
good person to have on my left. I think I was even support swap with him, so I couldn't technically attack him, and he couldn't attack me. And he happened to have no ships over the system I needed or units, so it was a clean win. And he was like, "Oh wow!" Like I remember as soon as that, he's like, "Wow, that's on me. Should have totally had something there." So it was kind of like that perfect like 7th player guiding your hand. Never really kind of felt that. But then of course when you're sitting next to Mantis for your prelims game and he extorts you for RA in the first agenda phase, it's just kind of like, okay, well now we're in the big dogs and you gotta, man. Yeah,
that's Mantis. Yeah,
dude, I've said it.
Was
before,
it Shenlong?
Again.
Yes.
There you go.
Gotcha. Respect Shenlong.
Yeah, great. I love both my tables were great. I had a great Bort was in my prelims game.
Love it.
Oh man,
we had a good time.
Yeah. Me and Phil were spamming chat for Bort's victory so hard. When he rifted round 1,
I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
The rift was incredible. Yeah.
But
I'm not gonna lie,
my favorite quote. Oh, sorry, you're.
I want to say is I was hoping for a long game. I think our game was one of the shorter ones. I was a little disappointed. I was like, I moved things around just to make sure I had like all day, and then I sat down and it was done, and I was like, oh well, okay, that's it. All right, well,
yeah,
I guess I'll go out.
I got off work like on a Friday because you all did a Friday game. I get off work and I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna go like watch this game all night. It's gonna be fun. Stay up late, and then it's over at like 10:30 Eastern. I'm like, it started at 3 Eastern. I'm like, come on, guys. But
I appreciate it.
The only finalist I've like really
sure
interacted with is Mantis, and Bort had a really funny story from the community game about him. In his team, he was on Team Sardak and Team 2, and apparently, like right when everyone gets jetted on, there aren't too many people going on through there. And this one guy's like, "I've played maybe 5 games of TI," and then another guy was like, "I've played I think 10," And then Mantis is like, well, then that's good because between the 3 of us, we've played over 300 games of TI.
Yeah. Actually.
So, I mean, I can't imagine. Like, I don't even know if he has to think while he's playing. I'm just like scrolling around the map, like keeping focus on my area, and then I'm like, oh, that guy has PDS too. Like, I can't even focus anywhere else. I don't even know if he has to like look. Like when you've played that much.
I imagine his feet are up on his desk and he's tossing a ball against the wall and just kind of like twiddling his thumbs.
Probably reading Bob the Builder fan fiction on another tab or something.
Yes, brother. You know it.
But,
oh man.
Not to get too sidetracked here, though, Stads. Now that we've got a little bit of crunch, we're going to add some milk, I think, to this Captain Crunch we got going. Stads, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? Like,
great.
I hear you're our friendly neighbor up north. Is that where you're from? Like, not in the U.S.?
Yeah. No, I'm from basically a suburb of Toronto, the New York of Canada, which I'm sure all the other Canadians will be a little angry, a little foaming at the mouth.
That's
maybe they'll stick me to ear. But yeah, I'm basically a project manager. Just recently became one at a small financial company. Got out of college a couple of years ago, and I've been working at the small company ever since. And for the most part, I live in my nice, cool suburban basement. It's real hot outside, but not down here. And I spend too much time looking at board games. Yeah. Oh, it's so fantastic. I'm wearing a sweater. Like, this is a very warm wool sweater because otherwise I would be shivering.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I flew into Louisville from Vegas just yesterday, and we're sitting here in our plane and it's pausing for takeoff. It's 103 outside, and the AC in the plane can't keep up. You ever been inside a metal tube that's just superheating?
Oh,
I've flown to Cuba a couple times. It's something we can do.
Bragging about Canadian people.
Yeah.
Ability to go to Cuba.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Very nice country.
Oh, it looks fantastic. But yeah, no man. Thanks for diving into that. So we can go back to the cereal then. So what like any other like cool little tidbits or anything you've kind of noticed like going on? I mean, you've literally watched more TI in the past year than probably anyone. Like I feel like I watch it a lot, and I know you watch it more.
Oh yeah.
For certainty. I think I said the same when I appeared on the Space Cats Peace Turtles podcast. You know that scene from The Matrix where Cypher's like, I don't see code. I just see like blonde, redhead stuff. That's me. It's just support swap, Imperial double score, support for the throne, action phase secret win. It's all that. One thing I found really, really interesting is that a lot of games seem to really come down to one kind of very hardcore win making. But there's two different flavors of that. One is the very typical, hey, like you're about to win. I can't possibly win if I don't stop you. So I'm just going to stop you and see what happens. And person gets stopped and the next person on initiative wins. That's happened, we'll say about 50% of games. This is me pulling a number from my butt here, just to be clear. Anecdotal.
Sure.
And about another 30% is, well, I could stop you, but that would just make this other person win. So why would I stop you? It doesn't really help my own chance. Basically the exact same thing, but reversed. And then the other 20% are sneaky action phase wins. So I don't really know why this tournament seems to have it so much more clearly, but I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Maybe Drago's got a statistical explanation. Maybe Brass and Froxy, you've got a vibe check on all that.
I like how we're the vibe guys. We can't even get real answers. I mean, what's even the point? Can you even be proud of your wins in TI if that's how you win? It's like, it's just actually, you were a win, mate. It's fine.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
That's the only way you can be proud. You were so popular that you just had to win. Like, come on.
I actually do like Big Al's like idea of like, the table consented to your win, right? Like that at least makes me feel happy, feel good. So, yeah.
Can you always have such a nice, pretty bow on it, though? I don't know.
No.
Like, there's been some salt,
no.
and I wouldn't have it any other way. Salt and drama makes the tournament interesting.
For sure.
Oh, for sure. I like to imagine like a satanic circle. Whenever it talks about dark arts, like someone like cutting their hand and like shaking it together. It's like, oh, they've got the dark arts going. I don't know how to explain it. It's just. Yeah, you gotta get real down and dirty to win sometimes. Brass, I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I think just like what's been going through my head, like, while we've been talking about this and like what the whole scene that you described, Stads, like it really just appears to me as like three different like stories that are taking place. Like the sneaky action phase wins obviously being like the most like exciting and most like dynamic and most bing boom bang of the three. But the one where they like consent to the win is just like, I don't know, seems like the most peaceful one or whatever. You see someone's like locked up the win and then it's like, you know what, you've been chill this game. Like, you're cool. Like, we're all just going to like chill and like, we're okay with you winning. But I really think the most interesting one is the situation where someone gets winslayed. Like I'm like absolutely fascinated with the whole like relationship between the winslayer and the winslayee. Is that how you'd say it? The winslayee?
Yeah.
Sounds cute.
The winslayed.
I like that.
The relationship between the two of those and like because you put that so plainly where it's like, okay, so this person gets winslayed and then it's like literally it's so arbitrary how it's like it's just the next person in initiative that wins.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's literally just the person that took the second fucking strategy card or whatever. So,
whoever is next in line for the crown, and it wasn't like a super murky line of succession. It was like, okay, whatever, we'll see what happens. Well,
yeah. So what is
anything can happen, but that doesn't mean anything will happen.
Oh, for sure.
You know,
and then like
Vegas is all about that.
What did that first person deserve? Like, or what did they do to deserve to be Winslayed? Is like essentially like such an interesting question to ask. And I think some people just do it just for fun. Like, I'll Winslay you just just for
To leave
fun.
your mark on the game, more or less. I guess that's what some people would do it.
And some people are like, well, I could, so why wouldn't I? You know, like, I mean,
Yeah.
I understand that concept, but Drago, what are your thoughts, buddy?
I mean, him bringing up those action phase secret wins. I only started tracking where the game ended and stuff, and I can just tell you the numbers. And I didn't do qualifiers, so I got prelims and semis. In the prelims, it was 11 action phase wins, and in the semis, it was 3, so 14 over the last 2, and that would be 80 and 36, right? So
Wow.
yeah,
Damn.
so however, 80 plus 36, real quick, 116, 117.
116 or 122 if you have
So
the
it's
semis.
14 into that, whatever that percentage is. It's super low, but
20%
There's
might have
also-
even been high.
there's even 3 tiebreakers in there, those damn clown fiestas. But
Clown fiestas are a whole nother breed, and like I absolutely love
that's like
it when the table can do that.
what is it, like the nega version of Winslay? It's like everyone just joins together to un-Winslay each other to enter in this holy trinity agreement that, well, if you got it, you got it, and we'll show it at the end. And
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
What
But
was-
there's levels
sorry,
to that,
you-
right? Right, Drake? Because
Yeah.
you can go for a clown fiesta, but sometimes you can just do it and you can truly be carefree. You know, whatever happened, I'm not even going to worry about like how this tiebreak. That's just not even relevant to what I'm going for.
yeah,
But you can also be like, okay, intimidate council on flip. That's a tricky one. I'm gonna slide right in there, set up for that.
Exactly.
Ooh, 5 ships. Like you can
Oh, you can
absolutely
plan
math the heck out of the tiebreaker and increase your odds.
dude, I try.
But not everyone does, right?
no,
That
So
was so.
It's so different.
That is impossible to do though, because like
It's not. Come on.
well, it's not impossible, but like for me in the resources I have, because I won on a tiebreaker, even though I
Right.
shouldn't have, but
It's a long
like
story.
in quals, yeah. But like I'm sitting here and I have like 8 trade goods and like I don't have my flagship out yet. I was like, well, that hadn't flipped, so I should get that, or should I save the trade goods? Should I save my influence? Should I reflip this with biosims? It was like, and it was just such a like, you know, like what are the odds of each, and it's the same for each one of those to do. I mean, controls, yes, like for that, but like most of the deck you can't really set up for like that Clown Fiesta stuff. So like unless there's like loose supports or loose triangles to get supports to create a triangle swap to get to 9, or you know what I mean. Sorry, that's just
Yeah.
like
I mean,
I
I
don't
think
know.
that's the difference between the leader of the clown fiesta and a person just joining in the train. Like if you're leading it, you're the one doing the planning, like Stat says.
Yeah.
You're looking ahead,
Yeah.
and if you're just joining the clown car, essentially, you're
Yeah.
you're there for the ride.
No, that's
Yeah.
a really interesting point though. I would really like to talk about that more, but I haven't been involved with one. I know
No, me
Teaspoon was
neither.
in like a Clown Fiesta. Maybe we'll have to ask him when we have the
Oh.
async guys on. Maybe we'll ask about the like some Clown Fiesta. Like, how was it to be like in the weeds during one?
Oh,
Uh,
I've
Stads,
got
do
my
you know-
favorite clown fiesta story. If we're still cool with that,
Oh,
like
heck
on
Do
this
you know how
topic.
many there were
Story
in the
time.
qualifiers?
I can control. Oh, 4? Just
Yeah.
4? That's
Like,
not
how
1
many
and 9.
tiebreakers there were in the qualifiers.
I can control F for it and tell you
Okay.
in like 10 minutes, but
Tell your story. Yeah.
I'll segue. I think this is like game 60 or something. I might have to look up, but gets to a tiebreaker situation kind of a weird way. There's one guy at 9 points, and there's 5 people at 8 points. Goes to the agenda phase, which is the most beautiful, evil thing. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Hunter, for putting that in existence. Political censure flips. So basically, one of these people on 8 points is going to get to go to 9, and they
I
have to
watched
choose
this.
which person goes to 9, which I think is just a really interesting
wow.
dynamic. Like that's pure Survivor, you know.
Oh, I
You
man.
have to
Well,
elect who goes
need
to
to-
it.
Wow.
We'll dig this video up and link it just to like timestamp it or something.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I'll
for
find
everyone
which
after.
game it is too. But
So
I think
juicy.
it goes into 2 parties. I forget who exactly the people were. Sorry, I can't give credit to the actual names. But essentially, the people at 8 points kind of fall into their parties. They agree to vote, however. And then the person at 9 points puts all their votes on the weaker contender. And immediately the tiebreaker deck flips. and it gives an objective that the person at 9 could score, and the person who just got that political censure couldn't. So the 7th player immediately rewarded that kind of trickery, that kind of sneaky move, which I thought was just that's I think my favorite Twilight Imperium story out of the tournament.
I feel like there's an inverse of that too, though, where a guy let in another guy, and then the guy that got let in essentially like won the first tiebreaker card and was just like, oh well, there you go. Like I let you in the door and you took my shoes essentially and walked away with them.
I think that might have been one of the clown fiestas.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Oh my god, that's amazing. And then there's like I guess there's like this blatant win making. It's not that, which also people kind of call it a clown fiesta. Was it Turd, like the Turd game?
I commentated that one. Turd's a whole nother thing.
I know. I don't want to dive into that. I'm just saying that's like the Anyways,
I told you we're not talking about that game.
I have 21 total.
Oh.
I control F to tiebreaker, and I get 21 hits, Drago, in my huge qualifier report compendium. But some of them might just be referencing it, so I'm just going to go through. So 21's the maximum, and it's probably somewhere in the high teens.
Okay, 3 of those are in the prelims. So
yes.
the rest are going to be all in the qualifiers because there was none in the semis.
Oh yeah,
very interesting.
Well, all right. So, man, that was a pretty good crunch there. I guess, like, you know, my next kind of like adding a little bit more flavor to this crunch. Stads, what like motivated you to even like make these what 100,000 words? I guess is Al said it like
a little more than that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's more than that, right? And because how many people you had to talk to get to those 100,000 words? How much time?
Why don't I just go over exactly the creative process? So usually I'd go through at about 1.5, 2 times speed on the Twitch VOD, go through everything, write it down, and then I'd go do a first kind of grammar and flow check, making sure I didn't spell anything wrong, making sure there wasn't anything obviously wrong, and just trying to make it sound okay. Not good, but okay. And then I'd put out a general call in the Twilight Imperium Discord saying like, hey, if you watched this game, if you commentated this game, if you played in this game, hit me up. I'll send it to you, and you can just give me your thoughts. You can say, hey, it's good. You can nitpick the tiniest thing, and I'll probably pretend to deal with a lot of them, if we're being honest. Or you can be like, hey, this didn't happen, or hey, this did happen, and it's really important. You should mention it. And I'd go and fix it. And they'd be like, okay, oh, this is better. And that's essentially what I did times 117.
Wow. So, what? But I mean, one, thank you for that, because I mean I've listened to every episode.
Right.
But 2, absolutely, man. I mean, I have a bus ride to work, so it's good time to talk today.
Hey, buses.
Yeah, hey, I love them. But my question, I guess, is more of like why, like not like why would you subject yourself to it, but like why? Like I know you love TI, and like I appreciate you doing it, but like, did you get some enjoyment out of it, like, or do you just enjoy like the whole process itself?
For certain, I'm sick and twisted enough to just love that. Or at least I did at the beginning. Towards the end, definitely a little bit of a downhill in motivation, especially as the weather got nicer and stuff. But early on, I definitely loved it. I watched a lot of the tournament games previously. Last year, I don't know how much everyone here was involved in the community, but I streamed a lot of the qualifier games last year. And I was happy to pass the torch to other people, let them do the actual streaming, but I figured I'd still contribute like that. And I think I also realized myself in December, like, holy shit, that is a lot of qualifier games. There's no way any sane person's going to possibly keep track of these. So I, the not sane person, decided to, summarize it all so that people, hey, like a lot of people are interested, but no one possibly has the time. So why don't I just go over all of these? I think I have the spare time to do it because I am currently dual income, no kids. I don't have anything to take care of. I have my job, which keeps me busy, but not crazy busy. My partner works for Amazon, which is a whole nother thing. But I work for a small company, like I said, so I only do like a reasonable 45 hours of work a week. So it still gives me lots of time to watch Twilight Imperium VODs and work from there. And I think a part of me also kind of legitimately enjoyed writing again. Back in, I think, high school, I did this writer's craft course and enjoyed it. And then I went to school for engineering, where it was mostly just writing formulas again and again and again and doing math. So I kind of enjoyed getting to express the creative side like that. Entirely selfishly, but hey, kept it going.
Hell yeah.
No,
Hell yeah.
I mean,
That's
well,
awesome.
that's awesome, man. Dang.
I mean, you
Wow.
covered 5,775 points scored.
Let's
That's
go.
insane.
Nice score.
Wow.
Until next year.
Wow.
No, when you say it like
And there's
that,
still a game left.
There's still a game left.
So there's up to 55 points to be covered.
Oh man,
Oh
Yeah.
man,
Yep.
that's
Yeah.
wild.
Unless it's a 14-point game.
Is
Oh,
that
the
being
final
pitched?
should be. That'd be awesome.
I would eat
dude,
that up.
It's already so like grueling to do a 10-point game sometimes, y'all. Like
And the final's
four-
already longer than heck. Too.
exactly.
Well,
the
and,
finals
and,
takes
and the
forever,
14
dude.
pointers are definitely like the finals are going to follow the pattern of like they're going to be slaying. Like I don't see total, I'll let him win just because he'll win. No, like what was that? Like 9 of spades. Like someone's going to own 4 home systems. Like they will try to everything they can.
Round 5.
Oh,
is gonna
let's
be
hope
for
the
it.
left. Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean
Knockdown,
that's how. I
drag
mean
out,
look at all
dude.
the semis games. Like
Yeah.
I know there were a couple. Maybe there was a.
There were,
I
there were
watched
quite a few that
3
were
at length.
pretty pacifist. I don't know. Game 1 was very, very pacifist, and the other, I think, the one where Neckert dies twice one was also
Mhm.
pretty quick and tight. But yeah, Game 2, what the heck was going on there? Everyone just secretly wanted to trap each other in for eternity. You were talking about like a satanic summoning, like dark arts
Yeah.
circle. That actually happened.
I love you all so much. I never want to stop playing this game.
I mean, poor
Yeah.
Imson in that game with Humble and everyone. Like he was up until like 6 in the morning.
Ooh.
Like his
Yeah.
time because he was playing with
Oh.
all Americans.
Oh.
Like and Jono won that game and he was in
Yeah.
Germany, so it was. I mean, you have to have endurance to win this game. I mean,
Oh,
like especially
for
the more
sure.
dealsy and talky you are. Like
Mhm.
round 5, your brain's like trying to keep track of everything because all these deals and bargains you made with people, and you just don't have it. I couldn't. I mean, on a 14-point game when you're like taking it serious, because like you want to win. Like
People
sure,
will
there's no
go
prize.
insane. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I don't know. Like I've started keeping spreadsheets during my like IRL games with like deals and like references. Like I know it's silly,
No,
but it's like only I can keep track of it.
A note
Hey.
sheet. I definitely do it as well.
Mhm.
Whatever helps you keep track and helps everyone have a fun time, right?
Mhm.
I played a game as Yusarl, and I had a whole sheet where I was documenting everyone's like, action cards one time, and like I just literally kept a log of them, and I was like, oh, as they spent them, I took it away,
Yep,
and I was
yep.
like, okay, that guy's got 2 I don't know, so I got to go look over at him. Okay,
Yep,
looking
yep.
around, like
Yeah,
just
when
keep
yeah,
an
when-
inventory.
when you're playing Yasarl, there like is that much information coming at you where you legit would need a spreadsheet, though. You know
Yeah.
what
Yep.
I mean?
Yeah.
And now
tracking
Nalu
secrets
as
and
well.
shit. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
For real.
Little black book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Pull it out from under the table, take a look, and go,
Just a
I
little-
see what you're doing there, and then put it away.
Yeah.
So I wonder if we want to transition into talking just like generally like who were like faction wise the winners and the losers of the tournament, who had a good year and who did not have a good year.
I think the
And
easy
let's
answer
not talk
for
about
who
Brass and I
did.
when we're talking about this. by the
Do
way.
you want
So-
to say it at once, Drago? I want to see if we agree.
The top one, or
Top faction. On 3? You down for
sure.
it?
Sure.
1, 2, 3. Mahak.
Titans. Ooh,
Oh.
but that's my number 2. That is
Yeah,
my number
okay.
2.
Right.
I think both of those are good answers.
Mhm.
I mean,
Mahak
they're-
just won a lot, and I still
At the
don't even
end.
know if they're that good, to be honest.
I think in the
That's-
right hands, Mahak is terrifying.
Mhm.
I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
I,
yeah.
I think they have mechanical complexity, and I think if you're good, you can deal make well with your agent.
You can.
You can move around the map, and if you budget properly and plan ahead, I mean, plus with the hero and the token econ, like
Mhm.
I think Mahak in the right hands is absolutely terrifying. I haven't played with, is it Jade? Right? Like
Jade, yep.
Yeah, I haven't played with Jade, but I've played with a few people who I consider to be pretty dang good players, and like in their hands, like everything is just for sale and to go, and like even Scepter sounded kind of good one time, and I don't even
I-
like that card when I'm
I
not
like it.
playing, and then I'm like,
I love
but
it.
I don't think it's that good. But I was like, one time I was like, man, I should really buy that right now. Like the way they were, like I don't know how to explain it. Like I just really do feel like Mahak in skilled hands is just like
Yeah.
unbelievably good because they can move well even without blue tech. They can manipulate the game board unlike anyone else can.
Mhm.
And I mean you can have 6 commanders technically on the board if you time it right. Like, and then if you have more tools, it's like Jolnar. If you know how to use them, guess what?
Yeah, a lot of their wins just felt very ugly to me. I think I called them footnote wins in my episode. They were just not asterisks. They weren't like disgustingly when made. It wasn't a rules mistake or anything, but it was just like, wow, let's all dive into the mosh pit, everyone. Oh, I won. Haha. Nailed it. All planned. Yes. Whereas Titans, I think yours might be a better answer for what the strongest faction was, but I feel Mahawk had a better year just because I feel Mahawk's actually average is much lower than like Titans having a good year doesn't surprise me. Mahawk having a good year surprises me a lot more.
So why do you think it was Titans though, Drago? Not to sorry, I went on my Mahawk rampage there.
Pure points, pure wins, and average points scored. Average points scored for Titans is 8.33. Mahat 7.87. So like about a half point more every game on average.
Yeah, that's a nice metric to have, the average points per game. Like to have that high. That's nice.
And Titans has 40 games times played, and Mahat had 30. So that's 10 more games and a half point per each game. So they just kind of came out on top in total points scored. You got a difference of almost 100. 236 to 333.
Wow.
So, Titans is a stronger faction. I do agree, though. Like he said, like Mahat had a better year, I think, in terms of just like playing out of their mind and playing up to.
Dude, the stands are strong this year.
Yeah, they are.
The Mahawk stands. That's what I appreciate about Mahawk very much. Is the Mahawk stands actually.
I love faction fandom, by the way, to go on a little like aside. Like I love it. Like I've made friends like on the Discord because I like really like Mintac, and me and Drago have the same top two factions. Like I know.
Okay, not this episode, but like another episode, you need to invite like some faction stands on and make like a tier list of faction stands. Like Mentak has to be like the most obsessed. Yisaro most obsessed. Barony like least existent.
Oh my! Thanks you for doing our jobs for us. Oh
like,
my
this
god!
This to be good. Okay. Maybe a quick preview. Which faction needs a more active standum?
I retread the SCBT stuff, but like, who really likes Cabal? Like they said. I mean, my buddy Truth.
Do they need one?
And what?
Does Cabal need a standum?
Do they need a standum?
True. You said need. That's true. I guess like I just don't even know if they have one.
Do they
like,
have one?
That's
I wish I liked Cabal more, to be honest.
I like
the flavor
playing
and
them.
stuff. I just can't get into like playing them.
I loved playing them, but like I feel like they just get undue heat and you have nothing to trade. Like I don't know how to play it. Like people deal with you.
I think the Yin Brotherhood are a growing one, but they could probably use some more help in their stand.
I think they could.
For sure.
I mean, because especially since everyone's been trashing on them lately, like that pre-errata channel. I went in and I was like, I love all the new Yin stuff, and then every single other person is like, Yin still suck. Yin still suck.
Aw, Brasford, just trying to fly all above the hate. And
no, seriously.
It's tough. It's a hard fly.
I genuinely love it, man.
Hey, good for you.
Well, that's why we wear the headphones. We keep the haters out.
Yeah.
In contrast to all those points data for Mahat and Titans, the only other faction to score more points is Argent at 386, yet their win count is a miserable 4-2. What is it?
You said they won 7% of their games last week.
Argent has won 3 games this whole thing and has the most points scored.
Yeah, they get win slate a lot.
Yeah. I mean,
they're very close, and then people take their home system because it's a free planet home system. Their plastic isn't that good. They're scary to touch, but once you touch it, it's brutal.
Have the lowest standard deviation in terms of average, so they're just at that 8 points every time. Just
strong start.
There.
Yeah.
Is the real lesson is that just like you should just not have a 3-planet home system ever? Like, is that just the real lesson? It's like
ask a Khan. How's a Khan doing?
Exactly.
Khan's not doing great.
For real. And it's funny because like in their own ways, as like both of those factions have their like tool, like Hakan's their hero, like Argent is their agent. They have their tool where it's like, oh, you have this shitty situation, but you also have this tool to be able to fix it, but then it doesn't do enough. It like doesn't it doesn't do enough.
You never spend enough time like protecting the other 2 planets when you got
exactly.
You never moving like spending a token just to move guys to the other planet never is something really that comes to your mind first when building.
Wow.
Sorry,
One thing I wanted your opinion on, Drago, or maybe you can help me out. I seem to remember Titans having a lot of wins in the qualifiers, but not that many in the prelims. Can you find me those numbers very easily? Because I remember looking at that and wondering about it, because from what I recall, the qualifiers map was quite a bit richer than the prelims map. Generally, a bit better slices,
So I
a
was
little
actually
more
looking at that
food on the table there.
Titans had 10 wins in the qualifiers, and we'll compare it to Mahat since we were kind of talking about both.
Yeah,
Mahat
yeah.
had 9, so they're one off each other in the qualifiers. I think those are the two most. And then you go to the prelims. Prelims would be Titans only had 2 wins, and Mahat had 1, so they're still off by just that difference of another 1 there. And then neither of them, I think, got a win in the semis.
Oh, because they only had the one shot at it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, it was a big. I mean, obviously, there's a number of games just comes into play on qualifiers versus the next stage and everything, because 80 versus 36. But yeah, no, Titans succeeded and then kind of dwindled away, and that's probably due to heat snapback. People
Also
not letting
true.
Titans run away with anything since they just watched them run away with 10 of them. Before.
I'd love to keep it. I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on that just in personal games. Like, is Titans, do they need a thick slice to sustain their economy, get up and running? Like, can Titans survive a poor map, a bad slice? I don't know.
Right?
You know, that's a good question, because I had recently played my first Titans game ever, and I was like going into it like really excited, like, oh man, these guys are supposed to be really good, blah blah blah. But then I had a combination of like kind of an awkward slice for them, and then the opening objectives were such that like I really kind of had to have a different early game than what a Titans like really kind of wants to do. So I had to take a step in a different direction in order to keep up scoring tempo. And I just felt like I was behind the whole time, like just behind in scoring, behind in economy. But then I got that hero online, and then I got that extra production, and then I got that those extra resources, and then I did like another warfare build with the extra production or something like that. And then I was like, okay, now I'm good. Like now I'm feeling like a powerful faction.
Fixed.
But yeah, and I actually like got up there in terms of like being in the pack scoring wise and like being competitive in the late game and everything. But I definitely just felt this whole vibe of like, if you have not a good slice, or you just take like the wrong planets first or whatever with your like kind of limited starting fleet, then you're going to have an awkward time is what I feel like with them.
I hope for that reason people aren't too hard on that good old faction hootenanny, because I really do wonder if Titans doing so well in the qualifiers is just more a product of the environment than anything else.
I mean, one of my POK wins is on Titans, and I don't know, like I don't even know how I felt. Like the objectives were like economic, and I could sit in my slice and farm, like, and I had good influence, like, and it was just kind of like, and then it came time to slay me, and I had all my PDS out and Hell Titans 2 and Saturn Engine 2, and it was I just laughed. I didn't have Light Wave, but like other people's slice was a way where I could move. I literally had Crucible from round 1 and just held it hostage and went 6 spaces away and took my 5th Industrial or whatever, and there we went. Like they have tools to pull things off. Like, you know, but like I think the situation has to be right. Like I don't know. Like I think they're good. I think they're a product of their environment, if that makes any sense at all.
Maybe more dependent on how strong the neighbors are than anything.
Yeah,
that's something we don't really have data to look at.
Neighbor stuff is super interesting.
Oh yeah.
I was talking to James K. Polk, who came up, was in the semifinals last year, narrowly lost to Jade this year in the prelims, and I think we were looking at a game in the qualifiers. I forget if it's one that he won or something, but he's like, yeah, this game was somewhat decided at draft because there was a SAR who went across the map through an alpha wormhole to the like asteroid alpha slice and did all their objectives from there and kind of screwed over the people in that pocket. And it left a power vacuum from the original slice, and that Imperium player just completely steamrolled the game, won in the 4th round, and was just never in threat, never in any danger. I don't know. I I don't know how much you can like predict it all from draft, but he was
Mhm.
talking sense at the same time.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
Yeah.
I in my local, like my group with like my IRL friends, like I have one friend who somehow always talks one of his neighbors into a support swap round 1, and he's drafted SAR 3 turns in a row, and he pushes into the other neighbor, and then like it creates this like power vacuum on the
Man.
table, which like really just like SAR ended up with you saw the pictures, like, cause you know how I posted
Yep.
those things,
yeah,
like,
I
on
love
there?
those. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
it's like
stuff.
he had 24, like he had 24 influence and 17 resources at one point because of like how things are, and like I just like the neighbor dynamics like are decided at draft, and like if you can lock down and someone does this nonsensical thing, it creates just a monstrosity, and like someone eats up the power vacuum. Yeah,
Wow.
I guess like that's my thought process like on all that, and like and I know we're like not talking necessarily tournament, but I feel like this is related to like how you win the game, which is we're talking competitive TI. It's like playing the table and creating power structure is what this is about, right? I mean, that's my kind of thought process.
It's so hard to look at, but it also feels so important. Like, is it just the factions? Is it the map layout, like where the anomalies point you? Is it? But there's also a huge personal element. Like if a friendly player like Big Al is beside me, that can totally change. Like, hey, we'll just make all sorts of wonderful deals. We'll get complex and we'll get dirty and we'll make each other rich. You know, ride or die kind of
And
thing.
then we'll get married.
Yeah,
so
I'll get married. Hook me up.
Actually, so I'm experiencing yin and yang in one game alone. On one side, I have Big Al on an async game, and on my other side, I have Mick Mac Moose, who is Euro Morning, like brutally strategic in everything he does, and like I don't know how to handle myself. Like I'm like
Build
me
more
and Big Al
plastic.
are like trading secrets and like having fun, and I'm building so much plastic. Like I've already. Like I basically
Build
created
more.
a situation where he had to
Build
support
more.
swap me, but I was
Build
like, I
more.
don't even trust him to support swapped. But like it's just weird to experience them both, and watching those two interact is like incredible. I'm hoping to have maybe both of them on here at the same time.
Oh,
and just see
that'd be
where it
interesting.
hey,
goes.
that's the first I've heard of this.
Yeah.
It kind of plays into like each faction having a different like ideology. Like, of course, you have like the same player play different factions. They play the different factions, maybe slightly different due to their abilities, but it's still that person's tendencies. But when you play like that, it's like playing with two actually different factions: a totally aggressive natured person, and then a totally like, oh yeah, whatever. Like, let's just keep it going.
Tempered aggression.
I can't think of a stat, but something I was thinking about before this started was like what it like is. I don't know how to explain this. Maybe we have to like release a survey or something, but like a play style stat, like ask all the winners, like how would you talk about yourself? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, like, are you a boat floater or are you Euro morning? That's like the notorious aggressive style, right? Like the Euro morning, and like on a scale of 1 to 10, and it's like ask the winners what they are and like describe like how you played your game. Like I'd be interested to see like, like kind of a compilation of what people feel about themselves and what got them wins, and like get the raw data about that. Like
I feel like we need to have
I think that paint an interesting picture.
We'd need to have a like really substantive conversation first about like what like all these different like labels mean.
Set the stereotypes.
We need to make
a
for real.
Well, it's hard to put people in a
TI
corner.
personality test.
Yeah, I mean, almost. Like, I know it's weird, but like, if you want to win, what's the best way to play? And like, if we can get a number to it, maybe someone will stop taking my home system and all.
What is that Briggs-Myers test? Just everyone take a Briggs-Myers test,
Yeah.
and then we associate them to types of TI players you are.
It would be crazy.
You know what?
if there
Maybe
was
we'll ask them
there.
what type of pumpernickel muffin they are or something.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Because I mean, yeah.
I wanted to bring this topic up because I was hanging out with Alice recently, and it's funny because we were like talking about a lot of the same things that we're talking about, and we had this whole kind of thing where we're like, I was trying to make the point where I think that boat floating versus like boat sinking is like kind of like a hot button topic right now in terms of like how people are like talking about the game in like a larger sense and what the meta is looking like. And I just think it's so interesting because my old crew that I used to play with, and I was just hanging with this homeboy. He came to see me in Portland. My old crew that I used to hang with in Northern California was so brutal and so cutthroat and so
awful.
Just like awful. You know what I mean? Like
No, that's what I play in, and our games are long.
for real. So then when I transitioned, I mean, when I joined the community and transitioned to like playing TTS games and like, you know, meeting all these different people, like I would like set up like just a classic play where it's like, oh, I'm just going to take this like strategy card that I don't really need, but I get initiative on someone and I do this preemptive strike and pop, pop, pop. And then I would have the situation where they're just like, whoa, 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 buddy. Why didn't you just like talk to me? I'll move out of the system. It's no problem. You can just, you know what I mean? And I was like so thrown off, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now I feel like in general, it's like we kind of reached this point where everyone's like looking around and questioning and being like, is boat floating like the way to go? Like, should we start point blocking people? Like, or something? Like Alice looked at me and was like, I've been experimenting with breaking deals.
it's like you know what it's like your wife like wakes you up in the middle of the night. It's like, I'm sorry, I have to tell you something. I've been experimenting with breaking deals.
I've been breaking deals.
That's
when we're talking like breaking deals, like tearing it up and spitting on the contract, not just like I have altered the deal, pray I don't alter it further, or just like a little bit of, you know, creative bending, you know, hey, the situation's changed, but we're still going to work it out just a little more in my favor because you can't do anything about it, you know?
I love when that happens and the commentators like are always like, oh, you know, you're just going to change it a little. Oh, this seems to work out much better for you now for some reason. Like, I always love when they get snarky, like about like what the players are doing. Oh, man.
Yeah.
But, man, I know we've delved into this, and I know we've been here for a while, so thank you for your time, but I have one quick little thing I wanted to ask. I know we know Argent's had, like, the worst tournament, like, absolutely, because they've been played a bunch, but, like, who, like, and I want all three of you, actually, because I know Brass has been, like, I really do. Who do you think, besides Argent, is, like, doing just way below either what they're capable of, or what they're... like, or are they just a bad faction and need some loving? I guess. Like, I know the Codex stuff wasn't in most of the games, so we can include even like no Codex stuff. I guess. Like, maybe I should eliminate those from that. So yeah, like no knowledge should be said because they're better now. So the Brass first.
It's Sardak. I want Sardak to be better, to have, you know, more wins. I mean, it's one of those factions where I feel like people will fall back on this whole thing of like, oh, but they need to be in like a 12-point game or something, or like they need to like a little more time for their whole engine to like start running hotter or whatever. You know what I mean? There's just
Sardak's a victim of their fandom. That's my take.
But I love
people.
The stands.
People who love Sardak not because they will win with Sardak, or because they have this. They like Sardak because I'm gonna bug all over you. Yeah, I love him for it. We love that. That is not a criticism, but if you want to know why Sardak doesn't win, it's because people don't play Sardak to win. They play Sardak for other reasons. To have
fun,
you know?
Yeah. They like want to shipless transit.
Yeah, nonsense. Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I've only played them the one time, and I feel like I have to scrape and claw for everything, though.
Like, they're so poor.
Like it was it's awful. I didn't enjoy playing them. I don't need like a power faction, but I just did not enjoy playing them at all.
Is that the game you were?
Yeah.
No, you seemed like you were poor the entire time. Yeah.
Yeah. It was awful.
Yeah, that's Sardak.
God. Yeah.
I've never seen a Sardak look rich. I've never once.
Just
actually, after the game, I'm gonna share something with you from an async game I'm in, and it's gonna blow your mind.
Okay.
Rich bugs.
Rich bugs.
But all right. So let's go with Stads next.
I have two answers.
That's fine. Do them both.
But okay. Shorter answer first. L1. I think L1. I don't know. They had a couple of wins from very high-profile players who I respect a lot. Planet Earth and Mantis in particular. One with L1. So I definitely don't think the faction's bad, and they won 3 games out of 38 plays, which is pretty thin, but not that terrible. I mean, no, it's pretty thin, but. I suspect that's because a lot of the slices in the prelims and qualifiers did not have good yellow skips, which I think L1 really, really needs.
Word.
Yeah.
The effect of like what the qualifier and prelim slices promoted shouldn't be understated. I think that's something we look by.
No, I mean,
like when I was bringing up
I'm with you
Titans,
on the
yeah.
yellow shit.
Yeah, that's why Mentac didn't actually get played that much. They got passed over a bunch of times where they just weren't
I
picked.
had to manipulate my draft so hard to end up with Mintag, if that makes sense, like in a good slice. I don't have a better way to phrase that. It was, But no, and then what's your second answer, buddy?
Oh, second answer is extra. They won 1 game out of 23, and that's because they were unlucky as shit. Holy crap, extras, learn to top deck hero points better. Like, what are you doing? The one time extra won, it was Phil Sage top decking 2 points with their hero. Like, people need to suck less at drawing cards. Jesus.
Wasn't Phil gonna win anyways in that game too, or something?
I don't know. Like, he had chances, but he also just was good at the game and top deck points, like that's what extra pre-codex was about. Just I don't care that you have a plan, I'm going to draw a point and win the game. Like, come on. And they just couldn't do it. 22 people just couldn't draw points.
You just gotta draw points. Why don't you just do that?
Just do that.
Just do it.
Yeah,
come on.
And thank you so much, Dane, for updating that hero. My hate is absolutely showing. Maybe it's an ugly set, but jeez.
My skill level is probably showing, but like Extra was my favorite base game faction. Like I loved them so much. I never got a win or anything. Yeah, but like I don't know why I loved them. I just did. And
Graviton laser system, baby.
Oh man, don't get me started. Oh, I have learned that Graviton is a good tech if you know you're not gonna win, but you really want to dragon someone's day.
Yep.
Oh, but yeah.
Drago,
so my you took my first pick, L1. So that was I'll move on. Yeah, they just seem to struggle unnecessarily for a faction that should be like great at taking the win if they're in a position to be. But so I'll say my backup is Arborek just because, I just want them to be better.
Me too.
Just do better.
I do.
This is interesting.
They need some. I don't know what the tweak is, and I hope they're working on something. But they need something that is thematic and just makes it like, oh shit, the plants are coming. Get the raid and let's go to war, kind of a thing. They just take too long to get online. Maybe that's it. Like I know they're the king of 14-point games, and I've only heard of that. I haven't experienced that myself. But
we're in the middle of experiencing.
Well, yes, we're in an alliance game, and that's getting accelerated exponentially.
They have a Titans.
Arborek.
Elspeth is on. Elspeth and Sushirito are on a team, and Elspeth is Arborek. And
she just gets dollars every time she uses production, and then just makes stuff. It's
oh my gosh, sorry.
A lot of stuff.
A little Discord notification on the bottom right, just to talk about like funny timing. I just saw Matt post a message in Galactic Counselors that Clown Fiestas are not just trading points, guys. I don't know what the context is. It was like, man, what good timing.
That's it's beautiful.
On Arborek, little bit of I'm pretty sure I'm 99% sure I'm allowed to say it. Cut this out if I can't. But I was part of the playtesting team for the newest codex, and I actually asked a little bit of like why Arborek didn't get enough. It's because Arborek has fans. If you are a fan of Arborek, you are why they didn't get a codex update this time. Maybe next time you are the. It's because Codex Update went to the factions that don't have fans, like Nalu pre-Codex. No one loved Nalu. Fugus, you won it with them, but like good job. Your special Yin had 2 wins, which were Magi and 11 Spoons, just kind of being super smooth at the table. But those factions didn't have fans, and Dane doesn't hate a faction being bad. He hates a faction being unloved. Arborek is loved, So many people love Arborek, and good job, Arborek. You're a stud. Studly little plant, you.
The secret is to start hating on Arborek. Oh my god.
It's to not care. You don't hate on Arborek. You just
total apathy. We just need apathy about them.
Apathy maybe staying insane. Do that.
Oh wow.
No more hashtag plants. No more hashtag Arborek life. No more. Just stop pretending.
We have the secret sauce. If you want your faction to get better, we just gotta you gotta let them go.
Exactly.
You have to let things you love go to let them grow. But
that's a good tagline.
If it comes back, guys, it was meant to be.
But yeah, Stads, Drago, I really want to thank you all for coming on. I've already had my like little heartfelt thank you to Drago. So Stads, I just want to say thank you for helping me grow as a player, not just on my little like TI chess pieces that I post on Strategy and Game Analysis, but like me watching you passively talk to other nerds about this. Like it's like you've really made me better at the game and way more engaged. And I know I yet again say this probably to everyone's coming on the show, but I would not be sitting here in this chair talking to everyone if, in large part because of you, because like you kept me engaged with the game and you helped me get better. And getting a win makes you want to play more. Let's be honest here. Like if you're just getting dumpstered all the time, it's like me with fighting games or anything. Like I don't do first person shooters because like I can't play them. So like, thank you for helping me like improve my tactical decision making. And if you ever have a question, maybe don't DM Stads, but if you post a question in Strategy and Game Analysis or something, he'll probably answer you with a great answer.
People have DM'd me. It's okay. It's just make sure you have like a good question. Don't be just like how good at game, because that's a hard question to answer. I do almost want to put out content for that, but I won't promise anything because holy, not making qualifier reports has been nice.
Yeah, no,
in a
man.
couple months, tune might change.
Take the off-season break. Take the off-season break.
Yes, thanks for jumping on with us today. I know this is like more work, but hopefully you had some fun. But man, thanks for being on here. And Brass, do you think we maybe need to send it off to our kind of outro guy? We get an outro guy these days. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Everyone knows that it's time to chill with Big Al Cappuccino.
Twilight Imperium is a game unlike most others, with so much determined above table through player interactions, negotiations, politics, diplomacy, people. Know that when you sit down to a game you have a voice, and you should not shy from using it. Influencing table meta is a skill learned through practice and can greatly aid your game by ushering the table meta toward your preferred playstyle. However, know too that other players have their voices, and it is important to respect theirs and find the collaborative middle ground. The win-win we try finding in games should be first established above the table, and tables that find this camaraderie cohesion will generally make it through most in-game curveballs and tensions with ease. When things do devolve, I stress again that you have a voice, so take a moment, pause the game and let others know how you are feeling, why, and what you would like. Then give them the same opportunity. Do this earlier than later, in the hope that the game can be rescued. Often a 5-minute break after airing from all players will allow for quiet contemplation and a return to reasonable compromise and even compassion.